Rock and Roll Geek Show 818.
Still rocking after all these years.
This is the story of my rock and roll butler.
This is it, the show that started it all. Often imitated, but never equal. From San Francisco, USA, online since 2004. It's the one and only Rock and Roll Geek Show. With the original Rock and Roll Geek, Michael Butler.
Welcome to the Rock and Roll Geek Show. My name's Michael Butler. Thanks a lot for joining me. I really appreciate it. Today is Wednesday, January 24th, 2018, and it is 7 p.m. when I'm recording this show. Tonight, I am going to be doing the long overdue top albums of 2017. Everybody's done their top 10 albums so far this year. All the other podcasts have done their top 10s. Eddie Trunk has done his top 10. All Rolling Stone magazine has done their top. Everybody's done their top 10. Now, finally in February, your friend Michael Butler is finally getting around to doing his top 10 of 2017. And as he speaks to him as of himself in the third person like a supreme douchebag, let him take a sip of this fine Tecate because it's his favorite one of the day, the second one. All right. Like I said, it's been a long time since I have... I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm sick with the flu. The flu is sweeping the nation, and I have been popping olive leaf extract like they're by the handful, trying to fight this thing, and it finally caught me. I've had sore throats every night, and it's having trouble breathing, but I'm powering through it for you, friends, because I am taking one for the team. All right, enough of that. So you're going to hear a little bit of throughout the show and a little bit of sniffling and stuff, but I'm going to do my best to power through this because it's not really a bad flu, I don't think. It's just a little bit of a cold. A little bit of a scratchy throat, and I might get a little vocal fry as we're going along. Let's get right into this thing. I tried to narrow this down to top 10 albums of 2017, but like most years, it ends up being like my top 14 or something like that. So, but I end up having ties. So this one's going to have a lot of ties as well. Let's start off with a tie for number 10. Coming in at number 10 is a band called The Fags. The Fags had an album out in 2006 called Light 'Em Up. Was supposed to be on Capitol Records, and Capitol dropped them before the record was ever released. And I don't know who put it out, but it's one of my favorite albums of all time. Top to bottom, that album is so fucking catchy. It is unbelievable. Well, they either went on hiatus or broke up, or I don't know what happened, but they did a pledge music or some sort of crowdfunding campaign for this new album, which is called I'm With Her. And I pledged, and it's a quality album, not as good as Light 'Em Up, but good enough to be in my top 10. Tied for number 10, this is The Fags. This song is called Holding Out, and the album is called I'm With Her.
Why don't you just play it?
There you go. Coming in at a tie for number 10. The Fags, I'm With Her. Quality album. There's a lot of covers. The first 6 songs on the album I think are originals, and then from then on it's covers. It has a Romantics cover, a Watershed cover, which, by the way, I have this book by the guy from Watershed called Hitless Wonder. I forget who sent me this. It was either Zach Urlacher or maybe Bob Scott might have sent me this. I just opened up the book. There's a $50 bill in the book. So thanks whoever sent me this book. I really appreciate it, friend. So anyway, there's several covers. A Romantic cover, Tomboy, a Watershed cover, I think a Madonna cover, Iron Maiden cover, the Nuge cover, and some other ones. Black Flag cover, I think. In the background, while I thank the people who donated to the show, I'm going to play some of the covers from I'm With Her from the Fags. How about... All right, let's start with the Romantics cover. Might as well start with that. Thank you for donating, friends. Without your donations, this show would die a horrible, putrid, stench-filled death. And there are several ways you can donate to the show. Let me get this music going. I don't know what's going on with it. There we go. Oh, by the way, over the weekend... In addition to interviewing Ricky Byrd, and thank you for the kind words about the Ricky Byrd interview, I spent the weekend redoing the rockandrollgeek.com website. You know, it's a lot simpler now, and there are no ads plastered all over it, and I think it looks a little bit better. Go to rockandrollgeek.com and take a look at it, and let me know if it's any better than the last one. The last one was a lot cluttered, and I think this one's a little bit better. All right, thank you, friends, for donating. There are several ways to donate to the show. You can click the donate link at the brand new rockandrollgeek.com, and there are several links that you can donate. You can click the Patreon link and donate to the show through Patreon, like these guys did, guys and girls. Thank you to Michael Brown, my friend who I grew up with and went to my first concert, David Bowie, at the Jacksonville Coliseum. He donates $25 every month through Patreon. Thanks, Mike Brown. Thank you to Joe Pawlak for donating $6.66 every episode. Thanks to Bette Wood for the $5 every episode on Patreon. Thanks to Danny Boyd for the $5 every episode. Thanks to Daniel Segan for the $5. Thanks to Michael Street for the $5. Michael Street just sent me a home invasion donation. He's coming here for the Darkness Show, and he's going to crash at my house, and he's going to have some dinner with me, and he's going to come and do another Rock and Roll Geek Show with his friend Michael Butler. Thanks, Michael Street. I look forward to seeing you, friend. Thanks to Ken Kennedy, who donates $5 every episode. Thanks to my good friend Chiaki Hinohara of the Metal Moment podcast and the Japanese Metalhead Show, and my really good friend. Thanks to Brian Springer for the $5 every episode. Thanks to my podcast mentor and host of Mad at Dad and Evil Genius Chronicles, Dave Slusher, for the $5 every episode. Thank you to Patrick Shanahan for the $2 every episode. All right, how about the Watershed? It was a quite pleasant surprise to come up to pull this $50 bill out of this one Watershed book, Hitless Wonder by John Ostrike, or however you pronounce his name. I needed that money too because I'm broke. Thanks to Paul Underwood for the $2. Thanks to Mario Zoth for the $2. Great tune. Thanks to Bruce McMillan for the $2. Thanks to Matthew Hunt, who I just had dinner with a couple weeks ago, was visiting. Thank you for the $2 every episode, Matthew Hunt. Wait a minute. No, Andrew Howe came and visited. Matthew Hunt is my kayak friend who's friends with Andrew Howe, who I would like to have dinner with sometime. Thanks to Eric Stowell for the $2. Thanks to Robert Harvey for the $2 every episode on Patreon. Thanks to 3 Legs, 4 Wheels for the $1 every episode. Thanks to Bonstone for the $1 every episode. Thanks to Mike Dixon for $1 every episode. Thanks to Jon Richardson for $1 every episode. And finally from Patreon, thanks to Koehler for $1 every episode. I take a sip of this fine Tecate, the second one of the day, friends, and always the best to you. You can also go to the brand new rockandrollgeek.com website and click on the PayPal friends and family donations like Alodie Johns did. She donates $20 a month. Thank you, Alodie. My first girlfriend. Thank you to Douglas Free for the $20 every month. Thanks to Jeff and Cheri Thieleke for the $10 every month. Thanks to Dave Franco for the $10 every month. Thanks to James Venners for the $10 every month. Thanks to Jason Shepard for the $10. Thanks to Todd Cunningham for the $10. By the way, Jason Shepard is in a great band called the Harrington Saints. You should check them out, by the way. Thanks to my friend and friend of the show, Ralph Miller, who came to the Butler Show on last week. It was nice to see you, Ralph. Thanks to Bradley Lisco for the $10. Thanks to Dave Jackson in the School of Podcasting for the $10. Thanks to Paul Fondry for the $10. Thanks to Kelly Mitchell for the $5. How about some Iron Maiden? Thanks to John Tennis for the $5 every episode, or every month, on PayPal. Thanks to John Tennis for the $5. Thanks to Greg Long for the $5. Thanks to Jeff CA for the $5. Thanks to Alex James Muscat for the $5. Thanks to Eric Lentz for the $5. Thanks to Dean Gillespie for the $5. Thanks to Richard Strom for the $5. Thanks to Dale Roller for the $5. Thanks to Andrew Howell, who I did have dinner with, for the $5. Him and his lovely wife. Thanks to Jer O'Carroll for the $5. Thanks to Christopher Del Grande for the $5. Thanks to Sigmund Heidacher for the $5. Thanks to Stephen Mascord, author of a book called Touchstones, which I'm in, for the $5. Thanks to John Offenlach for the $5. Thanks to Brett Garski for the $5. Thanks to Craig Vasiloff for the $5. Thanks to John Boveri for the $5. Thanks to Adrian Boschon for the $2. Bosch Rock on the forums and at the Rock and Roll Geek Facebook group, which I did not create, but I do approve people. So if you want to be a part of the Rock and Roll Geek Facebook group, send your request, and either me or somebody else will approve you. Thank you to Richard Fusey for the $2. Thanks to Lassie Satvedhagen for the $2. Thanks to John Skiller for the $2. Thanks to Bradford Page for the $2. Thanks to Peter Spark for the $2. Thanks to Michael Williams for the $2. Thanks to Deborah Dreyfus, if that's your real name, for the $2. And finally, thanks to William Moffat for the $1. Thanks, friends who donated on PayPal. Without your, I take a sip of this fine Tecate to you. Without your donations, this show would die a horrible, putrid, stench-filled, dying of the flu because no one got a flu shot. Horrible, putrid, stench-filled death. And if you are a cheap bastard or don't have any money and would still like to support the show, there is an Amazon link at rockandrollgeek.com, the brand new rockandrollgeek.com. Click to donate, and there's an Amazon link there. Anything you buy on Amazon, I'll get a little kickback, friends. Any way you want to help the show is much appreciated. Or you can send me a book, and you can stick a $50 bill in it. That would also be very nice and much appreciated. All right, friends, let's get back to the top 10 albums of 2017. According to me, Michael Butler, this is only my opinion, and it could change. If I would have done it another week from now, it could have changed. I don't know, but as of now, these are my top 10 albums of 2017, give or take. 3 or 4 albums. So about basically my top 14 albums. Tied at number 10 with the Fags is a friend of the Rock and Roll Geek Show who is on the forums at on the Facebook Rock and Roll Geek group. His name is Sandy Hyde. He has a band called Doll Hazard, and they put out an album called Transatlantic Meltdown. Quality album. Vocals are a little strange, but if you get past these strange vocals, there are some really good rockin', catchy songs on it. The album is called Transatlantic Meltdown. Tied at number 10. This song is called Rock and Roll Prostitute. Tied for number 10, Doll Hazard. That song is called Rock and Roll Prostitute. All right. Number 9 is also a tie. It was hard. It was very, very difficult narrowing these things down to the top 10. So I said, fuck it. I'm going to just do a top 14. So, and I'll call it ties. So, what would it be? Number 12. Yeah, come in at number 12 or tied for number 9, however you want to do it. I did a track by track of this album on my show and on another podcast called Cheap Talk with Trick Chat. This is Cheap Trick's latest album, We're All Alright. Got great reviews. Everybody raved on this album. It's better than Bang. It's head and shoulders above Bang Zoom Crazy Hello, which was also in my top 14 of 2016. This album's way better. So hopefully, they say they're going to be doing an album every year. They actually did 2 albums in 2017. They did the Christmas album as well, which after going back and listening more, it's not as bad as I originally gave it. It's not great, but it's not as bad as I originally gave it. I did a track-by-track review of the latest Cheap Trick album called We're All Alright. I gave it a 9.5 out of 13, which is not that bad of a score. Actually, there's 3 bonus tracks on it. Out of the original 10 tracks, I gave it a 7 out of 10, and out of all 13, I gave it a 9.5 out of 13. My favorite songs on the thing are actually some of the bonus tracks, and this is one of the bonus tracks. This song is called Like a Fly from the album by Cheap Trick called We're All Alright. I hope there's another album in 2018, and I wish they would go back and try to do something like either the Red Ant, a self-titled Cheap Trick album, or even In Color, a power pop album. They haven't done any power. Their last albums are a lot more hard rock, which I like as well, but Cheap Trick's my favorite band, as you probably well know. But I'd like to hear Cheap Trick do a power pop album, but this is the closest thing to it on We're All Alright. This is my favorite song of the album. This song is called Like a Fly.
Talk about me like a dog. Dog. I can just hear the words floating through the sky in the fog. Voices keep on calling, my skin crawls whenever I see your face like a fly.
There you go. Tied for number 9, Cheap Trick. Also coming in tied for number 9 is Dan Baird and Homemade Sin. Dan Baird is such a prolific motherfucker. By the way, I should mention that he's fighting leukemia, and his band Homemade Sin, we flew to New York. Me, Eric Lannon, former drummer of American Heartbreak, and the guitar player for the Butlers, Craig Beerhorst. We flew all the way to New York just to follow Dan Baird and Homemade Sin around for a couple of shows. We drove up, we flew into New York, drove up to upstate New York in the snow at a little rib shack and saw Homemade Sin play, and it was fantastic. And then we drove, then the next night, the next night, is either the next night or night after, we drove down to New York City and saw them play somewhere else, and it was even better. Two fantastic shows from Dan Baird and Homemade Sin. Well, Dan Baird put out 2 albums this year. One of them was with Homemade Sin, and the album is called Roller Coaster. By the way, Dan Baird fighting leukemia, so say a prayer for Dan Baird that he comes back. Homemade Sin did some shows without him. He invited the singer for the Bluefields, the Bluefields were a band featuring Dan and the singer and this other guy named Joe Blanton, who Dan Baird invited Joe Blanton to take his place in Homemade Sin. Joe Blanton was one of the guys in the Bluefields with Dan and Warner Hodges. I saw some video stuff of Joe Blanton. I don't know how you pronounce his name, but he was singing the Homemade Sin tunes, and that guy is a great singer. So if Homemade Sin is playing around you with or without Dan Baird, go see them because they're just as good. They're not just as good, but they have just as much spirit with Joe Blanton. But say a prayer for Dan Baird that he pulls through this leukemia. God and gods of rock and roll, please let Dan Baird make it through this leukemia. We need more great artists like him. Well, he put out my tie for number 9, an album called Roller Coaster. This song is called Shake It Till It's Sore.
Hit the ground running.
Ugh, what a song. Fuck. Whoever said that rock and roll is not dead, friends. As you well know, it is not dead. That is, what a tune. All right. Coming in at number 8. Is it number 8? Yes. Coming in at... Yes, number 8. Coming in at number 8 is a band called Wildlife. Casey Crenshaw, the guitar player for Featherwitch and my good friend, came on this Rock and Roll Geek show, and we did a track by track of this album, and we gave it a 9 out. We both gave it a 9 out of 10. It's a great album. I think it's on Wicked Cool Records. Wildlife is a New York band. They're in the middle of a tour right now, a short tour. Tonight they're playing in Washington, D.C. at a place called Slash and Run. If you happen to be in Washington, D.C., hopefully you're there seeing Wildlife. They're a great band, great garage rock, super catchy tunes, everything you want in a good rock and roll album. The album is called Out on Your Block. And the song is called Bandita. There you go. Coming in at number 8, Wildlife from New York. The album is called Out on Your Block. That song was called Bandita. which is a great tune, and it's a great album. Gave it a 9 out of 10, Casey and I did. All right, coming in at number 7, one of my favorite singers in the entire world, and he plays in one of my favorite bands in the entire world. He has a new solo album out. His name is Jesper Binzer. He's in a band called DAD. I am a huge fan of this guy, and he's got one of the most original and most recognizable sounding voices in the world. I love this guy. We drove down to Southern California just to see them play, and I went to 2 shows. Went to the Whiskey, which was great. My favorite bass player is in DAD. Stig Peterson plays a 2-string bass. The guy's fantastic. Anyway, Jesper Binzer has a solo album out called "Dying Is Easy, Rock and Roll Is Hard." This is the title song. They are from Denmark, I believe. And he's got a decent album. It is number 7 on my top 10 of 2004. Number 7 of my top 10 of 2017. Or my top 14 of 2017. Whatever. This song is the title track. "Dying Is Easy, Rock and Roll Is Hard" from Jesper Binzer.
Fingers bling the chords and whispering lyrics through lipless jaws. I'm a part of white bones, born like I'm blue. Yeah, Desperados knows this well. You wanna be fire and burn like hell. You wanna hear angels, but you're just killing yourself. Yeah, wait for the fever. Have been so cold. Yeah, wait for the fever. And this is as far as I go. And I'll be walking on as death, with nothing in my head. Dying is easy, rock and roll is hard. Dying is easy, rock and roll is hard. And nothing will last, and everything costs. If you move too fast, the love gets lost. If you move too slow, you know the other guy's winning. And when you give too much of what you wanted to give, now you crack but you can't in order to live. Yeah, but no one was asking. And now the pills won't work, no. I wait for the fever. Hey, I can't be saved. Yeah, I wait for the fever. Rise again from the grave. And I'll be walking on as dead, with nothing in my head. Dying is easy, rock and roll is hard. Yeah, contact with my name, up to the microphone again. Dying is easy, rock and roll is hard. Yeah, I said dying is easy, rock and roll is hard. Yeah. Yeah, some people give up 'cause they're afraid to die. Well, I'm killing myself again just to stay alive. I'll be walking on as dead, with nothing in my head. Dying is easy, rock and roll is hard. I'm tortured with my name.
There you go. Oh, jeez. Jesper Binzer from DAD solo album. Man, that is good. Ugh. So I was talking about doing this top 10 of 2017. I talk about it at, I start talking about it around November of every year. And when I was talking about it, I got a message from a friend of the show, Ken Parker, and he said, be sure to check this guy out before you finish your top 10 of 2017 list. And he turned me on to this band called Ryan Hamilton and the Traders. Ryan Hamilton did an EP with Ginger Wildheart called Fuck You Brain. So I knew of him through that. I had not heard his Ryan Hamilton and the Traders album. I heard one song, which I liked a lot, called We Should Never Have Moved to L.A. Todd Cunningham, also a friend of the show, sent me that song as well. Ryan Hamilton has an album called, what is it called here? Ryan Hamilton and the Traders, The Devil's in the Detail. This album, top to bottom, great album. Thank you, Ken Parker, for reminding me to check this album out. It is a quality album. Go get this album if you're a fan of good. This guy kind of reminds me of a younger Ginger Wildheart. I don't know if he's younger, but he's kind of like a baby brother of Ginger Wildheart. And the songs are in the same vein. The voice is not the same, but the songs are similar to Ginger Wildheart. I like this album a lot. It is a great album. Devil's in the Detail, Ryan Hamilton and the Traders. I played a couple of songs on the Rock and Roll Geek Show already. This song, I don't know if I played this one or not. This song is called Smarter, and it is number, what is it on my list? This is number 6 on the Rock and Roll Geek top 10, give or take 4 albums of 2017. Ryan Hamilton and the Traders.
I need a tall glass of water and a sleeping pill. Looking forward to a whole lot of nothing and some time to kill. Me, oh my, I'm feeling half past dead. I need another late night like a bullet in the head. I rocked and I rolled when I was young. Yeah, we drank all the drinks and we did all the drugs. No regrets, I've had a hell of a time. I found a woman that I love and I lost my mind. I'm still not clean and I'm not sober. I'm just a little bit smarter and a whole lot older. Living this life one day at a time. It's amazing how clear things look through bloodshot eyes. And if I take it too far, only time will tell. But I'd rather not waste that time on a wishing well. I'm still not clean and I'm not sober. I'm just a little bit smarter and a whole lot older. I'm still not clean and I'm not sober. I'm just a little bit smarter and a whole lot older. You know nobody wants to walk this road alone. And everybody wants love when they get home. When I see heaven coming down, I'll know I'm free. But I got people all around with their chains on me. Still not clean and I'm not sober. I'm just a little bit smarter and a whole lot older. I'm still not clean and I'm not
There you go. Ryan Hamilton and the Traders. Devil's in the Detail. That song is called... hold on. Whoa. Sorry. That song is called Smarter. All right. Coming in at number 5... Dan Baird came in at tied for number 9, Dan Baird and Homemade Sin. But when Dan Baird was writing the last Homemade Sin album, he had a bunch of leftover songs, and he put out, I think he might have put this one out before the Homemade Sin album. He put out a solo album called So Low. It is a great album. What a talent this guy is. Please pray for Dan Baird. We cannot lose a major rock talent like Dan Baird. Wow, what a talent this guy is. His album is called solo album. Just threw these songs together. These were leftover songs. Unbelievable. He played this song when we saw him in New York, and I was in the front singing every word to this song. This song is called, the album is called So Low. This song is called Cemetery Train from Dan Baird.
Life. Well, no one shed a tear
There you go. The great Dan Baird, Cemetery Train. Ugh. I just keep saying every song, ugh, because they're all good. Quality albums this year, as there were last year. Every album, every year, there's quality rock albums. They're out there, friends. You just got to look for them. Rock music is alive and well. All right. Coming in at number 4. This is a tie for number 4, actually. Most people would not think that this would be in my top 10, but I ended up really liking this album quite a lot. Lindsey Buckingham and Christine McVie put out an album called Lindsey Buckingham and Christine McVie, the two people from Fleetwood Mac. You would have thought maybe Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks, but they did an album together, and top to bottom, it is a really, really catchy album. I could have done without, like Dave Slusher said, I could have done without the programmed drum tracks, but the guitar work is amazing, and the songwriting is superb on this album. I could have picked any song on this album except for one. The rest of every song in this album except for one is a quality song. I just randomly picked this one. This song is called Lay Down for Free from Lindsey Buckingham and Christine McVie, tied for number 4 in my top 10, give or take 4 albums of 2017.
Strange music echoed in my head. I waited for words left unsaid. The rains came and washed away my fear. I heard you whisper in my ear. I won't lay down for free. I won't lay down for free. For free. For free. Touched you, but you were not alone. I reached for you, but you were not at home. I stood by, beside our broken bed, heard voices
There you go. Nice, catchy tunes. Not hard rock, not metal, but quality album. Lindsey Buckingham, one of the greatest guitar players alive, and probably one of the greatest songwriters as well. All right, that was tied for number 4. Also tied for number 4, this band put out what I think is the best punk rock album of 2017. Might be the best punk rock album of the last few years. The band is called The Professionals. It used to be Steve Jones and Paul Cook. When the Sex Pistols broke up, you all probably know this story. The Sex Pistols broke up. They started The Professionals with a guy named Ray McVeigh. I don't think he was in it to begin with. It was Steve Jones, Andy Allen on bass, and Paul Cook on drums. And then Andy Allen left the band, and they got this guy Paul Myers in the band. Anyway, they broke up, reformed The Professionals. Steve Jones is on a couple of tunes on this album. He's not in the band, but he gave them their blessing, supposedly. In the band currently, Paul Cook on drums from the Sex Pistols, Paul Myers, who was the second bass player for The Professionals, Tom Spencer from a great band called the Yo-Yos. That Yo-Yos album, one of my favorite albums. And Chris McCormick from Three Colors Red, which is it Three Colors Red? Is that the name of the band? That guy's a great guitar player too. Three Colors Red, right? Yeah, anyway, Chris McCormick from Three Colors Red is on the album, and it is a great punk rock album. The album is called What in the World? The Professional. This song is called Good Man Down. Steve Jones plays on this, and Billy Duffy from The Cult also plays on this tune. Top to bottom, this album is a great punk rock album. Get this album. If you like good, catchy punk rock, this album is for you, friends. This album is called What in the World? This song is Good Man Down from The Professionals. Number 4. There you go. Tied for number 4, that's The Professionals. The album is called What in the World. That song is Good Man Down. All right, we're down to number 3 on the top 10 Rock and Roll Geek albums of 2017. This is another tie. Tied for number 3. I did a track by track of this album very recently. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10, and for that reason, it deserves to be number 3. This band is coming in March to San Francisco. Michael Street coming to visit his friend Michael Butler. He's going to do a home invasion, and we're going to go see The Darkness. Me, him, and a bunch of other people. We're going to be geeking out to The Darkness, and I am looking forward to it. Their album is called Pinewood Smile. This is my favorite song on the album. This song is called... I really hope they played this song. I haven't seen it on many of the set lists. I'm trying not to look at the recent set lists. I heard from friend of the show, Jill Gerstenberger, that she's seen videos of them playing this song live. So hopefully they'll play this tune, because this is up there with the best of the Darkness tunes. This song is called Happiness.
I think I've shit myself.
There'll be no cornetos till you wash that shit off your leg. Give it water!
This is the best summer ever. We're so gonna make love tonight. Alone on the beach here together, holding each other so tight. And I said, this is my heart, no one ever broke it. Don't worry about my ego, you don't have to stroke it. Repeat after me, I love you, I love you. You said it.
Great tune by The Darkness. That album is called Pinewood Smile, and that is tied for number 3 on the Rock and Roll Geek Show Top 10 Albums of 2017. Also tied for number 3, Ginger Wildheart put out a country album this year, or he called it a country album. To me, it just sounds more like a Ginger Wildheart album with acoustic guitar. It is a great album, really, really great album. It is called Ghost in the Tanglewood. A lot of the proceeds he donated to a suicide prevention charity called the Samaritans. Ginger, as you know, if you're a Wild Hearts fan, you know about Ginger's struggles with depression and things like that. I've seen it firsthand, and I love Ginger more than anybody knows. I am such a huge fan of Ginger, and the guy is the greatest songwriting talent of our generation. And this album is one of my favorite Ginger Wildheart albums. It's called Ghost in the Tanglewood. Coming in at tied for number 3, Ginger Wildheart, Ghost in the Tanglewood. This song is called The Daylight Hotel.
There are voices in the wall all around the clock for the lady next door on suicide watch. And there's drunks in the hall cause they wanna come back, cause they went outside and they went off track. But it's easy done in that world of opinions, but in here it's clear they're none. Come on down, bring your monsters, all you angels. Yeah, we all just wanna be well. Settle down, no one here remains a stranger. Here at the Daylight Hotel, all is calm, all is well. Well, me serotonin, it's been given a push, and it's hit me like an amphetamine rush. It's hard to get in, but it's harder to leave when you're wrapped up in the relief you need. Your mind is yourself till the demons have been expelled, and they're changing mine as well. Come on down, bring your monsters, all you angels. Yeah, we all just wanna be well. Settle down, no one here remains a stranger. Here at the Daylight Hotel, all is calm, all is well. Come on down, bring your monsters, all you angels. Yeah, we all just wanna be well. Settle down, no one here remains a stranger. Here at the Daylight Hotel, all is calm, all is well.
There you go. Beautiful song, beautiful album. Ginger Wildheart. That album's called Ghost in the Tanglewood. All right, that was tied for number 3. We're down to the last 2, friends. And number 2, I was not expecting to like this album as much as I liked it. I'm a fan of this guy. This guy's one of the most underrated guitar players out there. But I was not expecting to like this album as much as I did. Also from Dan Baird and Homemade Sin, Warner Hodges, guitar player from not Georgia Satellites, from Jason and the Scorchers. We saw him play with Dan Baird when we went to New York. When I was in Stevie Stiletto, he showed up to a show we played at the Exit Inn drunk, saying he wanted to produce our band, and I thought that was just the coolest thing ever, that the guy from Jason and the Scorchers liked Stevie Stiletto. To this day, he doesn't remember it, and he said it was just because he was drunk and we really weren't that good, but I'm still a fan of this guy. This album is a guitar player's dream. Top to bottom, the shredding on this album, it's just absolute masterful guitar. Vocals aren't bad either. Warner Hodges sings all the songs. Every song good. totally not expecting it to be this good, but I was floored when I heard this album. It is so fucking good, friends. If you like Southern rock, this is one of the best Southern rock albums I've ever heard. This Warner Hodges, he's got an album out called Right Back Where I Started, top to bottom, great album. Do yourself a favor if you like rock and roll. Get this album. This song is called Sick of Myself from Warner E. Hodges. Number 2.
Up to here, tired of being alone with myself. All night I've been working, wishing I was somewhere else. Wishing I was somewhere else. Wish I was having fun. Don't get to go that much anymore. Used to be right outside my window, now I'm stuck on the 11th floor. I ain't asking for professional help. Sick of myself. I remember Katarina doing the dance of the 7 bells. That shit just don't move me no more. I'm in the 7th circle of hell. I ain't asking for professional help. I'm sick of myself. Boxes with a TV dinner, thumb on the remote control. I used to have too many women, but now I'm just too damn old. In my boxes with the TV dinner, thumb on the remote control. I used to have too many women, but now I'm just too damn old. I used to prowl your streets at night just like they was mine, all mine. Took everything I wanted, I did it every goddamn time. Did it every goddamn time. I could use a vacation away from me. 'Cause when I look in the mirror, liking what I see. I ain't asking for professional help. I'm sick of myself. I'm sick of myself. I'm so sick of myself. Sick of myself. Makes me sick.
There you go. Number 2, the great Warner Hodges. That album, man, get that album. Do yourself a favor. All right, we're down to number 1. The Rock and Roll Geek, top 10, give or take 4 or 5 albums of 2017. Not Jasper. Did my podcast mentor, Dave Slusher, and I, we did a track by track on Mad at Dad. He gave this album an 11.5 out of 12. I gave it an 11 out of 12. This album is so good, it is sickening. It is Tommy Stinson and Bash and Pop. Top to bottom, this album is quality. It's my favorite album of 2017. Before I play a song from this, I should give honorable mentions. Black Star Riders' Heavy Fire. That album came out early in 2017. It's a great album. A lot better than any of the other Black Star Riders, and I like it a lot. It barely missed my top 14 albums of 2017. Also, honorable mention, Warrior Soul, Back on the Lash. Good album as well. Didn't quite make the top 14, but those two are honorable mentions. But coming in at number 1, Tommy Stinson, Bash and Pop. This album is a great album. Could have picked any song from this album, but I picked the title song to play. Thank you for listening, friends. Before I play this song, let me tell you how you can reach me while I'm burping up this fine Tecate. I had the flu, so bear with me. Thank you for sticking with me through this sickness. Find me at rockandrollgeek.com. Brand new website. Let me know what you think of it. With the subject, send an email to rockandrollgeek@gmail.com with the subject line, Butler, your new website looks okay. Could have been better, but you're not a webmaster, so it's the best I could expect. Put that in the subject line. Also, you can find me on the Facebook, R&R Geek. Find me on the Twitter, R&R Geek. Find me on the Instagram, Rock and Roll Geek. Thank you for the donations, friends. Please keep the donations coming. This show is a value for value, so whatever you think this show is worth, I would appreciate your donation. It will keep this show alive. Because without your donations, this show will, I guarantee you, die a horrible, putrid, stench-filled death. So if you would like this show to die, you know what to do, friends. All right. What am I saying? I'm delirious. I'm in a fever fog. All right. Enough ways to reach me. Here is my number one album of 2017. Tommy Stinson, Bash and Pop. This song is called Anything Could Happen. Title track of the album. We will talk to you soon, friends.
You got stuck in the wrong side, peeking through the rusty keyhole, just looking for a place to hide. And God's message is tongue-tied, lullabies he sings of suicide. You hear him when you're dissing this life. And I might change my mind, I might change my clothes, I might change my life. I don't know, anything could happen. 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 Tonight's sucking the real time, making up for times you couldn't buy. Is it really when you make up your mind? The hand out in the past tense, the blowing across the cemetery fence. Now you hear 'em crying off at the distance. I might change my mind, I might change my clothes, I might change my life. So I'm told anything could happen. 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 Baby, don't lay me down to rest in Minnesota. Honey, just lay me down in NOLA. What's up, Dave? I might change my mind, I might change my clothes, I might change this night. So I'm told anything could happen. 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 Anything could
It's a rock and roll geek train wreck.